everyone and welcome to another episode of Rift News, the show you likely decided to watch because you want to know what's happening in all the other Riot games which you don't have time to play. And if you do play all of them, good luck. Since season 2021 is almost here, today we will focus on all the big updates for all the different games. Because this time, the new year affects all of Riot's games. Well, most of them. So as always, let's start with what's happening in League. First of all, should you log in right now, you may notice that there are only a couple of days left before the new season starts. And for the promotion of this, Riot is using specific champions. The reasoning behind this is that we will likely get a 2021 cinematic similar to Awaken or Warriors the day the season launches. All the teasers are split into 5 parts, which hints at the cinematic having 5 different champion stories. And that's really all we know. However, and this may be a little bit far-fetched, but if you look at the logo which Riot is using for 2021, it looks similar to the crown of the Ruined King. Now previously we already speculated that the Ruined King is planned as a champion for League in early 2021. This may be just a further proof, but the fact that Senna will likely appear in the cinematic means that this is even more likely. So again, nothing confirmed, but just keep that in mind. Besides the cinematic, there are 2 waves of skins which already appeared on PvE. The first one are new additions to the Wardens vs Marauders series. On the Marauder side we are getting Kalista, which not only looks incredible, but it is also a skin that finally changes her spells from the blue-green she always had. Then there is Kled, who almost looks like a tiny Darkin here, was it not for the fact that Skarl was turned into a bloodthirsty beast. And lastly we are getting Xin Zhao, who's a bit less unique, because his other skins also give him fully armored options, but I still love the Marauder aesthetics. Then on the Warden side we are getting Gragas, who somehow almost looks like Ornn, although I can't really deny the fact that this skin is very unique. And Gragas gains wings during his dash. And the other Warden skin is Quinn, who really looks like a Victorious skin. I'll take that as a compensation for Aatrox. Just like Gragas, Quinn also gains wings during her dash, but she is still being carried by Valor while she's flying. All of these skins also get really awesome chroma skins, which in my opinion are better on the Marauder side. Besides this, Surrender at 20 also data mined some new icons, including an icon for the beginning of season 2021, and an icon for the first split of that season, but they also found some new emotes for Poppy, a dead internet meme, and the first split emote, which will showcase Rel. Now this was the first wave of skins which we got from PvE, but there is also a second wave which is secretly being teased through TFT. We'll talk about the big updates TFT is getting in just a moment, but first, let's focus on all the new skins they are hiding. You see, TFT will have a new set of units called Fabled. And these are units themed around the mystical creatures from the Chinese mythology. Usually at the beginning of the year, we get Asian themed skins because in February it is the Chinese New Year. That's why in the past, this is when we got the lunar skins or even the Varying Kingdom skins. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that these new TFT units are using the skins that will arrive in early 2021. And so far, we know about a new skin for Nautilus, a new skin for Cho'Gath, which was showcased in a recent Riot Mode breakdown, a strangely draconic skin for Darius, and a mystical version of Nico. There may be more, but these are the skins teased through TFT so far. Hello, this is me from the future. So yeah, yesterday Riot pushed all the hidden skins to League as well, which means that the majority of them was revealed. But as you'll see, there is still a catch. It was revealed that this year's Asian themed skins is the new Shanghai skin line. And as we mentioned, this skin line contains Cho'Gath, who looks like a proper Chinese dragon if he was merged with a Lovecraftian horror. Then there is Nautilus, who unfortunately is a bit similar to his Worldbreaker version. Nico, whose head is in the clouds, literally. And a new addition is Jin, who reminds me of a Chinese version of the Blood Moon skin, even though Blood Moon is already based on Eastern mythos. But interestingly enough, you may notice that the hidden Darius skin is still missing. So there is the chance that this event will be split into 2 halves, and there are more skins coming later. And the reason why the event would be split is because yesterday Riot also kinda confirmed that the Ruined King might be joining League of Legends. You see, On top of the Shanghai skins, they also revealed the Ruined skins, which are based on an alternative universe where the Ruined King consumed Runeterra. Now obviously these skins will likely celebrate the release of the Ruined King game. But when we have a look at the skin bios, things get suspicious. First of all, we have Ruined Draven, who has the same cutout triangle in his chest as the king himself. He also has the spiked crown. But in the skin bio, it is mentioned that Draven challenged Viego to a duel, which Draven immediately lost, resulting in his ruination. And interestingly enough, according to some really old leaks, Viego is supposed to be the real name of the Ruined King. I assume we will learn about this in the game too. So right now, this skin is either cleverly referencing Viego, as in character only found in the Ruined King game, or these skins are sneakily teasing that Viego, the Ruined King, is coming to League 2. Which is something I expect to be true. It still lines up with the roadmap. Next we have Ruined Karma. Her bio mentions that she was ruined when Viego led a second wave of ruination which destroyed Ionia. And lastly we have Shyvana, which mentions how Shyvana would turn against Demacians was she to get corrupted as well. Overall, even if these skins are just celebrating the game and not the champion, they look amazing. And honestly, I would love to see a vision of what the Ruined Runeterra would look like in the game. It would be a great way to put these skins in a canonical context. If it is just a vision, there is no reason why we wouldn't be able to see Ruined Draven. But that's all the things we got from yesterday. So now, let's continue with the video. But now, since we already cracked TFT open, let's have a look at what is happening with the new set. As we already mentioned, TFT Fates is getting new units for its mid-set update. And this time around, it may be the biggest mix-up yet. In total, we have 20 units which will be replaced. First, let's check out who's leaving. Moonlight is getting removed entirely. This includes Lysandra, Silas and Aphelios. Same goes for Dusk with Vayne, Thresh, Riven, Cassiopeia and Lilia. Hunters are also leaving. This adds in Warwick and Ashe. Dazzle is also going with Lux and Ezreal on top of that. And finally, Shade with Evelynn and Kayn are also gone. As a bonus, for no real reason, Riot is also removing Nami, Hecarim, Jinx, Xin Zhao, Jhin and Ahri. Out of all of these, I'm glad Jhin is gone because you could always build a comp around him. But here you may notice that although some origins were removed, certain champions in them were not mentioned here. For example, even though Moonlight is going, Diana wasn't mentioned. And that's because some of these champions are just getting new origins. We'll break down what these new origins are doing in just a moment. But just know that Diana is now a spirit assassin, Zed is a ninja slayer, Kindred is a spirit executioner, and Morgana is enlightened siphoner. Now Slayer is a new glass cannon trait. The lower on health the enemy is, the more damage the Slayer will do. And the lower on health the Slayer is, the more lifesteal they will get. Even though you can get up to 6 Slayers, you will need a chosen unit, because this origin only has 5 of them. These are Zed, Darius, Olaf, Tryndamere and Samira. Yes, Samira is new, we'll get to her later. Next, Executioners are all higher cost units, which makes them a really good late game comp. Just like Valkyrs in the previous set, Executioners get guaranteed crits on enemies below 50% health. And these include Kindred, Gale and Xayah. Kindred was always meant to one-shot enemies with a single ability, so she won't make use of the crit passive. But Gale will, and she is the one who is meant to be your carry here. Then we have Siphoners. As the name suggests, they are your drain tanks. They heal based on their damage done. And these include Nasus, Vladimir, Morgana, and Legendary Swain. Now on top of these 3 replacement origins, we got 2 entirely new ones. Fabled is a trait which requires exactly 3 units. And upon hitting all 3, each of the units gets a different upgrade to their ability. Here we have Nautilus, Neeko and Cho'Gath, all with abilities from previous sets. With the Fabled trait active, Nautilus gains damage reduction after stunning an opponent, Neeko gets more damage on her ultimate, and Cho'Gath knocks up the entire board. And finally, then we have the Dragon Soul origin. This trait increases the unit's base stats, and it gives them a Dragon Breath ability, which cleaves opponents in front of them. Here we're getting Brand, Tristana, Braum, Shyvana, Olaf, Aurelion, and Swain. And this is probably going to be the most flexible comp, because you can run Slayers with Olaf, Siphoners with Swain, or Mages with Aurelion. But now, even with all the origins covered, we are not done yet. As we already mentioned, we are also getting new legendary units. Swain is obvious. He transforms into a dragon and becomes your drain tank. Samira dashes towards the largest group of enemies, gains 100% dodge, becomes unstoppable, and fires massive damage at random enemies. The catch is that she doesn't have mana. Instead, Samira will increase her rank with every other shot, and she ults after hitting S rank, so you will have quite some time to shut her down, and even during her ultimate, she can be killed by spells. And lastly, we have new legendary Ornn. In combat, he has his ultimate from League. He summons his elemental ram, which he can then hit and stun enemies in front of him. But he also has a special trait called Blacksmith. After each combat, Ornn will craft a piece of an artifact, and the higher star he is, the faster he will craft it. After finishing an artifact, you can use it as equipment for your units, and the effects on these are quite unique. For example, you can get Rocket-Propelled Fist, which on top of some basic stats, also gives your unit Blitzcrank's Grab. See, you thought we would finally have a set without Blitzcrank, but he somehow comes back anyway. Or you can craft Muramana, which gives the unit 100 mana after the first time they cast their ability. This essentially guarantees a double cast. Or you can get Trinity Force, which gives you 33 of every stat and 333 health. Lastly, at the end of the post, Riot showed us one extra feature they are adding to this set. At some point during the game, all players will get a Lucky Lantern at the same time, and the contents of that Lucky Lantern will be the same for everyone. It can contain familiar things such as gold, Nico's help, specific items, or even Force of Nature. But to spice things up, Riot decided to add in some extra things. For example, everyone can get the Shop Reroller, which will give you a free reroll when you put this item on a champion. There is also the Item Remover, which pops items off of a champion. Or the Item Reroller, which will pop the items off, but also change them into something else. And finally, you can also get a Training Dummy, which is a free unit that behaves like Azir's soldier. It's really just a meat shield. There is one last thing Riot revealed yesterday. They showed us some of the paid contents, including what's in the pass. There are 3 arenas in the pass which are floating in the clouds, and 2 paid cyberpunk-themed arenas which even have their own club music. Of course, there will also be a variety of new booms, but most importantly, we have new Little Legends. The free Little Legend is a Dumpling sprite, with the one we got from the paid pass being Porcelain Bellswear. Then, for the normal Little Legends, be ready for a new wave of Chonks, ferocious Furry Horns, and even some cyberpunky Shisas. And as a really cool bonus, Surrendered 20 data mined a Ruined Feather Knight. We don't really know how we will be able to get him, but it would be a really cool reward for purchasing the game. But that should be it for all the news regarding TFT. There was a lot, but then again, it's been a while since TFT got an update. So now, let's have a look at the last major update in one of Riot's games, the first season of Wild Rift. Those of you who have seen our recent streams know that somehow, maybe I'm weird, but I prefer playing Wild Rift over League. Maybe it's because I get to experience a fresh start of League. Or maybe it is because people are lazy to type on their phones, so flaming is quite rare. But either way, I really like the game. And that's why I am super excited to see what's to come. Recently, Riot released a post showcasing what's coming in just a few days. And oh lord, is there a lot. First of all, we really just expected Teemo to launch with the first season of Wild Rift. But that alone was a mistake. Not only are we getting 5 Yordles instead, we're also getting about 15 skins on top of that. These new champions are Corki, Kennen, Tristana, Lulu, and Teemo. Now, I have no idea if this patch was released earlier in the East, or if people are just that good at data mining. But for example, YikeZ on YouTube managed to get all of the champions and their skins working. So even though I'll use their footage to showcase the skins, I'll go through them quickly. So if you want to check them out in detail, check out this video in the description. Anyway, As we mentioned, we got 5 new Yordles, none of which were majorly changed, but their models were surely updated. Here, Teemo is confirmed to have teeth. Tristana has great fire effects on her cannon. Lulu actually looks like a Yordle. Cannon was updated to look like he does in the cinematics. And finally, we need to pause on Corki. I know he wasn't really updated, but the new model looks incredible. I love all the hidden moving parts in his machine. This fills me with hope that maybe he will get some new lore too. After all, remember, Riot wants to do some canon lore events in Wild Rift. But then, in their post, Riot revealed all the skins coming with this patch. And somehow, YikeZ got their hands on these too. So let's go through them super quickly. We got Star Guardian Lulu, Star Guardian Janna, Star Guardian Jinx, Star Guardian Ezreal, Star Guardian Lux, Arcade Corki, Lil Devil Teemo, Lil Devil Tristana, Arctic Ops Cannon, Wicked Lulu, Dragon Trainer Lulu, Cottontail Teemo, Sad Robot Amumu, Arclight Varus, Earth Corki, Super Cannon, and Grelia Tristana. Once again, a detailed view of these will be in the description. But on top of just champions and skins, Riot also gave us some new features. For example, you can now hop into a party finder, where you may attempt to find friends, I guess. There is also a new latency indicator, so you know how your connection is doing before you hop into a game. You can share your end of the game scoreboard directly on social media. And of course, the one feature everyone wanted, if you play Yasuo, is mastery emotes. But we got even more things in-game. You can now reply to pings from your teammates. Somehow this is similar to Apex Legends. Dragon and Baron now have respawn timers. Emotes are now on a quick selection wheel. Messages got better UI. That is, if you play with chat enabled. And towers will now prioritize super minions over siege minions. And finally, there is one last thing to mention. Even though this season we are only getting borders and icons for the ranked rewards, in Season 1 we are getting a Victorious skin just like we do in League. But here the skins are called Glorious. So for Season 1 we are getting Glorious Tryndamere for getting gold or above. And let's be honest, we couldn't start with a better skin. Now to close this video off, Riot did one last thing. On different social media they showed us pieces of a Yordle map. Now if you put them together you get a QR code. And after scanning it, it unlocks an Instagram AR filter, which reveals different Yordle documents around you. They show Tristana in Bilgewater, Cannon in Ionia, Lulu in Freljord, and Corki in Piltover with Von Yip. Of course, these don't really hold any significance and they are just a teaser. But just in case, I'll quickly try to learn how to read Yordlish. This may reveal more Corki lore than he already has.